Hello, and welcome to the channel The Love Lines. Are you accusing the board? Lang asked. I'm questioning motive. The other members shifted uncomfortably. Ethan remained silent, watching, calculating. Lang leaned slightly forward on screen. You're new to this level of negotiation, Ms. Reynolds. Sometimes pressure must be applied. To whom? She asked calmly. Lang's eyes sharpened. To ensure stability. Ava nodded slowly. Then let's apply it evenly. She slid a folder across the table. Inside, email trails, timestamps, a connection between Lang's consulting firm and the journalist who broke the story. Daniel had been thorough. The room froze. Ethan's gaze flicked to her. Surprise, respect, concern. Lang's voice hardened slightly. You're overstepping. No, she replied. I'm clarifying. Silence hung heavy. Lang finally leaned back. This company requires decisive leadership, not emotional entanglements. There was dismissal, control, power language. Ava met his gaze directly. Then let's vote. The board murmured. Ethan finally spoke. For what exactly? She didn't look at him. For removal of external influence tied to media manipulation. Lang's smile disappeared. You would risk destabilizing investor confidence over pride? She shook her head. Over integrity. The vote passed narrowly. Lang's direct advisory authority was suspended pending investigation. The call ended. Silence remained. The board slowly filed out, until only Ethan and Ava were left. He studied her. You just declared war. No, she said quietly. I ended one. He walked closer. You could have told me. Would you have supported it? Another pause. Another crack. Eventually, he said. She nodded slowly. That's the difference between us. And what is that? He asked. You play chess 5 moves ahead. She stepped back slightly. I protect what's in front of me. The air between them shifted. Less control. More tension. Real. You're changing this company, he said quietly. No, she corrected. I'm reclaiming it. And for the first time, Ethan Whitmore looked at her not as an asset, not as a strategist, but as an equal threat. The SEC arrived on a Thursday morning. Not with chaos, with paperwork. Uniformed agents stepped into Cole Enterprises just after 9:15 a.m. Employees froze. Phones came out. Rumors ignited. Ava watched the security footage from Ethan's office. Cole stood in the lobby, surrounded. Not resisting, not shouting, just stunned. They're moving faster than expected, Ethan said quietly. This wasn't supposed to happen today, Ava replied. His eyes shifted slightly. And that was enough. You knew, she said. I knew pressure was building. You said it was leverage. It was. Then why escalate? Before he could answer, Daniel burst into the office. They're not just questioning him, Daniel said sharply. They're filing preliminary charges. Ava's stomach dropped. For what exactly? Ethan asked. Fraudulent capital reporting tied to early-stage projections. Early stage. Ava felt the blood drain from her face. That's my department, she whispered. Daniel looked at her carefully. Your name isn't on the filing. Yet, she replied. Silence. Then the worst realization of all. Victor Lang hadn't just targeted Cole. He had created a narrative. If Cole fell, the logical architect behind the early numbers would be next. Her. By afternoon, the news channels were running live coverage. Former CEO Cole Reynolds under federal investigation. Ava couldn't breathe. This is my fault, she said quietly. Ethan turned sharply. No, I built the growth models. I pushed aggressive scaling. You didn't falsify them. That doesn't matter if someone reframes them. Ethan stepped closer. This is Lang retaliating. Because I exposed him. Yes. And you didn't anticipate he'd go nuclear? His jaw tightened. I miscalculated. That word. From him. She had never heard it before. Cole could go to prison, she said softly. He won't. You don't know that. Ethan held her gaze. I won't let that happen. Her voice sharpened. Because it's strategic? His expression shifted. No. A beat. Because it matters to you. Silence thickened. Why? She asked quietly. He stepped closer. Because you matter to me. There it was. Not polished. Not calculated. Raw. But she didn't soften. You matter to me too, she said. And that's exactly why I don't know if I could trust you. That landed. harder than any boardroom attack. That night, against legal advice, Ava went to see Cole. He sat in a gray interview room. No suit jacket, no confidence shield, just a man stripped of image. When he saw her, something in his face broke. "You shouldn't be here," he said quietly. "I needed to hear it from you." "Hear what?" "The truth." Silence. Then he laughed bitterly. "You always did ask the hardest questions. Did you manipulate the reports?" "No." "Did you sign off knowing they were inflated?" "No." "Then why does it look like this?" He leaned forward. "Because someone rewrote the narrative." Her breath slowed. "Lang." Cole's eyes narrowed. "You know, I exposed him." He stared at her for a long moment. "You always were smarter than they gave you credit for." She swallowed. "Did you ever think I'd end up on the other side of this table?" "No," he admitted. Another silence. Then, "There's something you don't know," Cole said. Her pulse tightened. "What?" "The expansion deal? The one that triggered the debt spike." "Yes. It wasn't my idea." Her heart skipped. "Whose was it?" He held her gaze. "Whitmore's." Everything inside her stilled. "That's impossible." "He approached us quietly 2 years ago," Cole continued. "Encouraged aggressive growth to increase acquisition value." Her thoughts collided violently. "That would make no sense." "It makes perfect sense if he wanted us dependent." She stepped back slowly. "You're lying?" "I wish I was." He leaned closer. "He didn't destroy me, Ava. He positioned me." Back in Ethan's office. Night. City lights flickering below like restless thoughts. She stood in front of him. "Did you approach Cole 2 years ago about aggressive expansion?" His eyes didn't move. "Yes." Her heart cracked quietly. "You never told me." "It wasn't relevant then. It's relevant now." He didn't argue. "Why?" she asked. "Because scaling increases leverage." "Over who?" "Over anyone who can't sustain it." The room felt smaller. "You built a trap. I built opportunity. For yourself. For growth. For acquisition. For control," she corrected. He didn't deny it. Silence roared between them. "Did you know Lang would weaponize it?" "No." "But you knew it was risky." "Yes." "And you did it anyway." He stepped closer. "I don't apologize for strategy." She felt something inside her settle. Not heartbreak. Understanding. "You and Cole," she said quietly, "are more alike than either of you realize." That landed. He flinched. Barely. But she saw it. "What are you going to do?" he asked. She inhaled slowly. "I'm going to fix this." "How?" "By dismantling the narrative. And if that weakens us." She met his eyes directly. "Then maybe we deserve to be weakened." Silence. Then he said something that surprised them both. "If you walk away from this fight, I lose you." She stepped back. "You never had me." And for the first time, Ethan Whitmore looked afraid. The cameras were already waiting. News vans lined the street outside Whitmore Group headquarters. Reporters shouting questions. Flash bulbs exploding like gunfire. Ethan stood behind the podium. Controlled. Composed. Immaculable. Ava stood 3 feet behind him. Not hidden. Not secondary. Equal. "This company," Ethan began, voice steady, "operates on transparency and accountability." Reporters scribbled. Questions flew. Did Whitmore Group influence the SEC investigation? Was the acquisition predatory? Is this personal retaliation? Ethan didn't blink. Before he could answer, Ava stepped forward. Gasps rippled through the crowd. "I'll address that," she said clearly. Ethan turned slightly toward her. He hadn't expected that. "My name is Ava Reynolds. I helped build Cole Enterprises from its first investor deck." Cameras shifted. Focus locked. The projections under investigation were mine. The air changed. Even Ethan went still. "I did not falsify them," she continued. "And I will provide documentation proving that the growth strategy was based on market expansion models, not manipulation." A reporter shouted. "Are you accusing your own company of misconduct?" She didn't hesitate. "I'm accusing individuals of abusing influence." Victor Lang would understand that message. The press conference ended in chaos. But one thing was clear. She had publicly separated herself from Whitmore's protective shadow and aligned herself with truth, even if it burned her. By evening, stock prices dipped. Investors called. Board members panicked. Daniel closed the office door. "You just split public perception," he said. I know. Half think you're brave, and the other half think Whitmore Group is fractured. Ava nodded. Good. Ethan entered moments later. No anger. No raised voice. Just intensity. You should have warned me. You would have stopped me. Yes. That's why I didn't. Silence crackled. You realize, he said quietly, Lang will retaliate harder now. I'm counting on it. His eyes sharpened. She continued. If he accelerates, he exposes himself. And if he destroys us in the process? She met his gaze. Then we rebuild. That answer hit him differently. Less defiance. More conviction. You're willing to burn this down? He said. No, she corrected softly. I'm willing to rebuild it without corruption. He studied her like she was a variable he hadn't modeled correctly. You terrify me, he admitted. She almost smiled. You don't scare easily. No, he said. I don't. 2 days later, the real strike came. A sealed warrant request surfaced. Not for Cole. For Ava. Allegation. Coordinated inflation of early valuation metrics. Her name was officially attached. Daniel rushed into Ethan's office. They're trying to flip the narrative. Ethan's voice went cold. Lang. Yes. Ava stood still, strangely calm. This is what he wanted, she said. To isolate you? Daniel asked. No. To force Ethan to choose. Silence fell, because they all understood. If Ethan publicly defended her, he implicated the company. If he distanced himself, she stood alone. Ethan walked toward her slowly. Do you trust me? He asked quietly. She didn't answer immediately. That pause hurt him more than the accusation. Yes, she said finally, but not blindly. He nodded once. That's enough. That night, Ethan made the most dangerous decision of his career. He called an emergency investor meeting. Closed door. No media. No board override. I'm suspending Victor Lang's equity privileges pending internal investigation, Ethan announced. Shock rippled through the room. That destabilizes capital, one investor snapped. It stabilizes integrity, Ethan replied. You're risking shareholder revolt over one employee? Ethan's jaw tightened. She's not an employee. Silence. What is she? Someone asked. He didn't hesitate this time. She's the reason this company is still standing. That wasn't strategy. That was truth. And everyone in the room felt it. Ava stood alone on the rooftop terrace later that night. The city stretched endlessly. She felt tired. Not physically. Emotionally. Footsteps approached. Ethan. No suit jacket. No armor. Lang is furious, he said. I expected that. He'll try to remove me. She looked at him carefully. Why did you do it? He didn't look away. Because 2 years ago, I built a strategy. She waited. And somewhere along the way, I started building something else. Her breath slowed. What? He stepped closer. You. Silence. Vulnerable. Unfiltered. You're not leverage, he continued. You're not an asset. Then what am I? She whispered. His voice dropped. The only person in this city who challenges me without trying to own me. That hit deeper than romance. That was respect. I don't need you to protect me, she said softly. I know. I need you to stand beside me. He stepped closer. Then don't walk away. She searched his face. Not for power. Not for ambition. For truth. Promise me something, she said. Anything. If this collapses, we rebuild it clean. No manipulation. No hidden leverage. Just truth. He held her gaze. I promise. And for the first time, she believed him. He reached for her slowly. Gave her time to step back. She didn't. Their foreheads touched first. Not dramatic. Not rushed. Real. And when he finally kissed her, the SEC hearing room was colder than any boardroom. No skyline views. No glass walls. Just fluorescent lights and recorded testimony. Ava sat at the long table beside legal counsel. Ethan sat directly behind her, not touching her, but present. Across the room, Victor Lang, controlled as always. Cole sat 2 chairs away from her. No longer CEO, no longer powerful. Just a man waiting to see whether his past would destroy them all. The lead investigator began. Ms. Reynolds, you authored the early expansion projections for Cole Enterprises between 2019 and 2021? Yes. Were those numbers intentionally inflated? No. Did you understand they significantly increased debt exposure? Yes. Then why structure them that way? She didn't hesitate. Because growth attracts acquisition. The room shifted slightly. Acquisition by whom? The investigator asked. Silence. Every eye turned toward Ethan. She didn't look at him. Multiple interested parties, she replied evenly, including Whitmore Group. Murmurs rippled. Lang's expression tightened almost imperceptibly. The investigator continued. Were you encouraged to scale aggressively? Yes. By whom? Now the air changed. This was the moment. Truth would hurt someone. She exhaled slowly. By market positioning strategy recommended during informal advisory discussions. The investigator leaned forward. With whom? She finally turned her head. Met Ethan's eyes. He didn't look away. Didn't signal. Didn't interfere. Just steady. Her voice stayed calm. Mr. Whitmore. Silence detonated. Gasps filled the room. Ethan remained still. No anger. No denial. Lang leaned back slightly, almost satisfied. The investigator shifted focus. Mr. Whitmore, is this accurate? Ethan stood. Yes. Shock doubled. You advised aggressive expansion to increase acquisition leverage. Yes. Were you aware it increased regulatory risk? Yes. Why proceed? His eyes moved to Ava briefly, then back to the panel. Because I believe the company could sustain it. Did you disclose your long-term acquisition interests? No. That admission hung heavy. Lang seized the moment. This is precisely the instability I warned the board about, he said smoothly. Personal entanglements clouding judgment. Ethan didn't react, but Ava did. Objection, she said firmly. The investigator allowed her to speak. Strategic advice is not fraud, she continued. But weaponizing regulatory pressure for leverage is. She turned toward Lang fully. And that's where this began. Lang's smile faded. Daniel stood from the back of the room. He handed new documentation to the panel. Email chains, consulting payments, direct contact between Lang's external firm and the journalist who leaked the story. Before the SEC accelerated charges, the investigator's tone shifted. Mr. Lang, care to explain? For the first time, Victor Lang looked cornered. 3 hours later, the hearing adjourned pending formal investigation into Lang's actions. Charges against Cole were suspended. Allegations against Ava were formally dropped. Lang's advisory position was frozen immediately. Outside the building, media swarmed. This time, the narrative was different. Board power struggle exposed. Internal sabotage at Whitmore Group. Ava Reynolds clears her name. Cole approached Ava quietly. You could have buried him, he said. She shook her head. I wasn't trying to destroy him. You just did. She looked at Ethan across the steps, surrounded by press. He chose to tell the truth. Cole studied her carefully. You love him. It wasn't a question. She didn't answer. Because love wasn't simple anymore. Cole nodded slowly. I hope he deserves it. Then he did something neither of them expected. He extended his hand. Thank you for not letting them rewrite us. She took it. Goodbye, Cole. Not bitter. Not broken. Complete. That night, in Ethan's office, the city felt different. Quieter. You risked everything, she said softly. So did you. He stepped closer. The board is split, he continued. Investors are nervous. And Lang. Finished. Silence settled. You could still walk away, he said. From what? From this. From me. Clean exit. Reputation intact. She studied him. You think I stayed because I needed protection? No, he said quietly. I think you stayed because you don't run. She exhaled. I'm not here for revenge anymore. I know. I'm not here for validation. I know. I'm here because I believe this company can be better. He stepped closer. And me? She met his eyes fully. You're still learning. That almost made him smile. He reached into his desk drawer, pulled out a document. Not a contract. Not leverage. A partnership agreement. Equal equity. Equal voting power. Her name listed beside his. I rebuilt the structure, he said quietly. Clean. Transparent. No hidden advisory influence. She looked at it carefully. You're giving up control. I'm choosing partnership. Silence. Heavy. Real. You once asked if you were an asset or a partner, he he said softly. What am I now, she asked. He held her gaze. My equal. No strategy. No performance. Just truth. She signed, not because she needed him, but because she wanted to build beside him. 6 months later, Reynolds Whitmore Capital officially launched under new governance standards. Media called it a comeback story. Investors called it stable. The industry called it bold. But Ava called it something simpler. Balance. On a quiet evening, she stood again across from the glass tower. The same building. The same skyline. Different woman. Ethan stepped beside her. You're thinking, he said. I used to stand here and feel small. And now? She smiled slightly. Now I know I built half of it. He took her hand. Not possessive. Not controlling. Equal. Do you regret any of it? He asked. She thought about the marriage. The betrayal. The hearing. The war. No, she said. Why? Because if I hadn't been underestimated. She looked at him calmly. I would have never discovered who I actually was. The wind in Manhattan still had teeth, but no longer cut. It sharpened. And this time, she wasn't someone standing outside the empire. She was someone who owned it.